Hello, everybody. This is kind of weird because I've never done a weekly plan with me in the Common Planner here, the Sterling Ink Planner. It is from May 1st through the 7th. How nice is that to line up? I figured new month, new me, new business plans. So I usually use my Moxie Life for my personal plans. It helps me balance all my family's needs and stuff like that. So I've been using this primarily for business and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I thought, oh no, another planner. But it's really helping me kind of divide those up. I thought like, hey, I need to see everything in one place. And of course, I put like business appointments on my personal calendar to see, if they're going to run into anything. But yeah, it's been working. I don't use the weekly spreads as much, so I'll kind of show you a little bit in here, but I'm planning on releasing these on Monday, like today, and seeing how things go. Now, in my personal planner, you'll see that I use like this really pretty purple color, and I really liked how this week looked. Now, this looks really plain, and it shows, client appointments, and it shows my other appointments just to kind of see how they are with everything. I have kind of a to-do list. I'm just starting out. I think, things might get a little bit more busy with additional clients. And so just a little background. I started my business in 2005 for web design, did that for till about 2018, although I still do a little web design here for people. It's not completely gone, so I can still say I'm doing it coming up on 20 years in 2025, I guess. I guess 18 years, I'll say that. But in about 2017, things started shifting. I realized that a lot of the women, I usually worked with a lot of women, small businesses, needed a lot more support. So I would offer more marketing support, more coaching support. And then I realized, mainly after my son was diagnosed with autism, like, hey, I'm neurodivergent as well, which happens to a lot of parents. You're not alone if that's you. And I started doing coaching because basically, I shifted from all my experience was in user design, user experience with web design. So it's a lot about colors and how to navigate through things, how people use things. And then I started I started doing a lot of research on how people use things in real life, and especially if they're neurodivergent or have chronic illness, and how much you need to plan your energy around that. So that's why this whole channel exists. It's about planning your energy, but I have personal clients who need extra support for that. So we usually meet a couple times a week, depending on things. So this client this week had 2. Sometimes she has 3. Sometimes people have 1 session, and they're anywhere between 15 minutes to an hour. It kind of depends how much support you need. And we talk about like how to navigate your life and how you use things in your home. Like, do you need to reorganize something? Do you need to figure out a schedule that is maybe outside the norm? And, like there's so many typical labels. Like, this is what people typically do. They wake up at 8 a.m., 6 a.m., somewhere around in there, and they go to sleep at certain times. With neurodivergent folk, it's like their hours could be completely different, and those hours could, if they shift them, they could actually have more energy. It's not about being productive. It's about feeling not as tired all the time and having someone else to talk through your overwhelms. So that's the type of coaching I do. My site's linked below if you're interested. But this is how I kind of organize my business around that. So I do a lot of planning videos because it is a lot about logistics. That's what I kind of excel at anyway. It's just like like, how can we piece things together to make it more manageable? I'm looking at the tape here to see where I should put it. So anyway, this is the corresponding purple. And the purple I'm using because it is a lilac season. It is my favorite season. And I love this kind of warm purple. And if there were any lilacs I would want, it would be this warm purple. Now we have one baby. We've had lilacs at several different homes that we've been at. Our last place actually had this beautiful, last two actually had some beautiful lilac bushes. But this one we just have a baby. And we'll definitely be taking it with us if we go anywhere. Let's see. Kind of wanted that to line up a little bit more. There we go. But I put on my Google Calendar a couple years ago just this range of when lilac season was, because I felt like I was kind of missing it. So I thought, well, put it on because I forget these things. I don't really remember. I also got this little sampler. It's December, but this is kind of purpley and kind of, it's not a true, okay, if anyone knows of any lilacs out there, lilac stickers, I haven't even searched yet, but I would totally buy them. I may get them a little too late for this season, but yeah, I would totally use those. I have a lilac, lotion for the off months. I haven't actually gotten it out in the last couple months. It's from Pacifica and it smells so good. It smells so good. So what I've been tracking in here business-wise, I have this little to-do list on the side. And for this last week, is it on here? I don't think it's on here. So I'm going to tip this to the side here. I invested in a service called Paperbell. Now I have used Dubsado for a while. I thought that was pretty good. And then I went to HoneyBook and I liked their interface better, but the way they did scheduling was hard. So I see how it can definitely be used for one-off type services. So if you are, I don't know, a tree service or birthday service, like it's once a year, like those kind of services, or photography, like it's just not very often. You can put the package together and it kind of just automates, but the scheduling is a little hard. Dubsado I think was a little better, but both of those were still kind of clunky. Now with coaching, I'm doing multiple a week and we have these packages and it's like, how do I easily make it really easy for people to just sign up and schedule? And Paperbell did that. And it's about the same investment as the other two, I would say. I did the yearly and it's, a lot because all my other expenses are very low right now. And so this is definitely investment for the year. But I used it with my client. She's like, oh, wow, that was really slick. And then I have everything on my calendar already. It's like, yeah. And then it just appeared on my calendar too. Now with HoneyBook, I had to have 3 separate calendars that were separate from my Google, and they wouldn't check each other. So, because I support kids and their parents, and I also support adults, and I didn't want them to overlap and have scheduling conflicts. And now everything is on the same thing. I also occasionally schedule my podcast interviewers through that same system too. So I want it to reference my Google Calendar, but this puts it on the Google Calendar. And for some reason, both the other services would not do that. I don't remember. Dubsado, it's a couple years ago, so I don't remember. But yeah, I'm just so thrilled. It was kind of taking a leap. But I love that their free trial allows you to use it with one client. So if you have a favorite client that you can try it out with, and then they're like, oh yeah, that worked really well for me, then I think that's a better way to sell things. Yeah. it definitely was a win for me. And they've been very personable too about saying, you know, thank you for signing up. And here's a direct email in case you have any questions. There's a real person over here. So it is women owned, and she's in the UK right now. But I've watched her create more than one thing, and I've really liked her work. So yeah, I'm so excited because it's like then I made so when you go to my site and schedule an intro session with me, that's the system you're using. It's really plain and easy to use. Yeah, so those are already in my current site. So what I've been working on in the background, when I say website up here, is that I'm slowly getting my new website up and running. And like it's I have the pages, I'm writing the content. There is just a little bit more testing to do and put the content in. So a lot of it's working, but I do need to finish it up. And that's what these videos are for, is possibly like having more accountability around that. So yeah, when I talk about onboarding and intro, it's the content for that. And then I'm thinking about, I was in a business group for the last year that was really helpful. I really enjoyed it. It was Women Speaking Up. It's run out of Australia. So some of the times weren't working for me. They were running at least Pacific time. It was a lot during dinner, so I can't catch them live, but everything's recorded. And I have to say, when I watch the recordings, I feel like I'm there. I feel like I'm right there. So I'm really questioning, do I want to do a year 2 with it? Yeah, it was really supportive. And for the cost, like, it's actually pretty cheap for like over the cost of a year. But in terms of my expenses, I need to be pulling in a bit more to cover that. So that's why I'm kind of going back and forth on some of my previous weeks. I'm still keeping it like pretty simple. But I think this is working for now. Like just keeping it this way for now is working. And then this plan with me, my personal, I'm going to start putting like a P here for personal, will come out Sunday. Because this is the end of the month, I'm going to be gathering up all my social numbers. So I go through and I just make screenshots because memory is not great, but I make screenshots of all my social numbers and then I put them into some charts that I've been keeping for the last few years just to see how those are growing and fluctuating. And yeah, I got to do that on Sunday. Monday? No, well, I like to do it like the morning of the 1st, because then it's like tell me, like, do you do numbers on the last day of the month or the first day? So that's something I'll think about this weekend, but I have it as a to-do here. So as this week, here's what I'll be writing down. I'm going to be tipping this so I can write a little easier. So I'm still going to be thinking about, well, I might make a decision over the weekend about that business group. So I'll be working on the website more this week. I would love to get it up. Do I want to break that down? I don't think so. I think I'm just going to do that. And then the social numbers. But then what else? Oh, okay. I was like, wait, it's not just one thing. So I have the business plan with me. And then I have the personal plan with me. And I'll put like what days those are occurring. And then I have my podcast. And you know what? I would like to do a newsletter. So I've been using these like double bookmarks. I think I'll shove these down a little bit here. There's a newsletter here that I want to schedule, I think, for the 1st. I think I would like to have it come out on the 1st of each month. I was doing it weekly and it was a little much. So I'm going to back off a little bit. And then here I'm going to have business plan with me. So this is what you're seeing now. And then I have my podcast come out here. Oh, I'm going to have my health. Why am I writing in the middle of these all of a sudden? I don't like erasing in pen on these. It does mash it down, but again, these work better in like Laurel Denise and Moxie Life, not so much here. So I'm going to do health planner, which I just got. I'll show you here in a second. And then this will be my personal plan with me. So that's kind of what my major content. So, okay, I got to share this. It's super cute. I literally just got it in my mailbox. I got the little bunnies because it's the year of the rabbit. Hobonichi weeks. So I'm not going to be putting stickers in here. Not yet anyway. I'm not sure. But it's a spring start. It doesn't say spring on the outside, but I knew it was spring when I got it. So it starts actually some of March. So I'll backdate a little bit, but I'm going to be keeping all of my health appointments in here. And a lot of times I go and get a little flustered when I'm scheduling something and I look at my phone and I only see like the daily view and I'm just like, oh, how do I schedule around it? So that's going to be what these pages are. And then I'll have weekly that I'm not sure exactly what I'll do with yet. Tracking symptoms, what pills I'm taking, that kind of thing. Not sure what I'll do with the notes back here. There's a good, how many? 74? It's not quite 90 days for a quarter. We'll see. So yeah, that's just my little, it's technically my first Hobonichi. And I am liking, like, if Catherine ever came out with a week's planner, I know she has like a week's notebook, but this is her first planner that she has in like this is A5 and then B6 is the other one. I don't know. This is A5 in case anyone was wondering. This is the biggest one and I need the room. So that's why I'm using it this way. I'm going to grab my personal. So this is my Moxie Life that I just got done doing. I'm going to put the, see how the purples match? I'm going to put appointments in. So I have, now here's a question for you guys. Do you do this as like 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock between the dots? So if this is like you're scheduling 12 to 12:30, is it like this? Or do you do here where 12, this is the 12 o'clock hour? I am doing this very small. Let me try that again. Do you start your hours on the dot? Or do you start it above so that this is like, if you do both of these, then it's the 12 o'clock hour. So I think I'm doing it wrong. Or I'm doing it the least common way. But for me, if you see here, like I have a 5 o'clock appointment. I'm going up a notch, a square. I'm going up a square and then down a square for that 5 o'clock. For me, I can read this as 5. I don't know if that's right, but for me, that's how I'm using it. And that's what I teach people. It's like, whatever works best for your brain, that's what you do. But I would love to hear from you. Like, if you like doing it a different way, like here I'm doing like a 1 to 1:30 is like above the 1. And I'm sure for a lot of other people, it's like, no, that starts at 12:30. This is just like what's working with my brain. It's just what's working. And so we have a Tuesday. Oh, and it's a noon. So yeah, do that. And I have a couple things on there. So I have like a 10 o'clock. So it's actually at 10 to 10:30. I have Cairo. Yeah, someone may be looking at this going, oh my gosh, that feels just so weird. And then this is my IN. Technically I have to be there at 2:15, but it's really like a 2 to, well, it's probably going to go to there. And then Wednesday, my son's therapy. And then I have therapy here. And then my husband has an interview here. Just gonna like, so the eye kind of looks like a line, but it's not. I think that's it in terms of like, these are super, super important. Okay, so that, oh, and then, so the difference here is like, it's like, well, am I just recording the same thing? This has, you know, my son's school stuff and like food planning and like house cleaning and stuff like that. And I have that out a lot of the time. But this is more of like, well, how is my work now kind of coinciding with these things and my to-do list on the side? I think, yeah, as time goes on, this is going to be much more important when I get one or two more clients. They kind of come and go. They, you know, they need some help and then they go off and do their own thing sometimes, or sometimes they need steady help all the way through. It just depends. But I needed something to kind of keep track of all that. So I am going to do the health planner. And then there was something in Paper Bell I was going to do. So I have my 2 intro links set up. Then I have one package. There was something else. Oh, podcast. So a podcast scheduler. So I can, I've done a couple interviews. I've loved them, but I want to do some more and I don't want to use the old scheduler. So that would be really nice to get that updated for next week. What else here? I don't really like some of the top things here. I don't want to carry through. So, and those other things are like for before May starts. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. But I am going to look back here. So this is my monthly here, and this one's set to go. So I think I'm going to look at May. So here I'm looking here and going, oh, okay. I wanted to think of some topics for the month. So that would be a good thing to put on the side here. 1 month of topics for my podcast. So like one every week. So in May, I think that's 5. Yeah, there's 5 here. So getting like those ideas so that when I go sit down to record, and the calendar here is set up so I can check that off. The topics were for this month. So I need to come up with the topics here. So that's technically what my to-do list topics there. Links. Oh, so these are my, okay, I'm remembering a little bit more. I'm practicing. Going back to my goals here, I want to set this up again for May. So this is like balancing all my business numbers, which I've been doing. I do that every day. All ideas out on paper, which I did do usually it's like on Tuesdays. I'm getting a lot of ideas out because that's the day before I do my podcast, but I'd rather do a little bit more of just constantly. I've been doing comments every day. So I'm going to fill those in. Posting. So I posted, that's any kind of posting. So I post on different platforms, and I will start diving back into Instagram. That's my main one. I'm just trying to figure out, like, a lot of my stuff is videos or audio. And I do share like audio snippets from my podcast and my stories there, but I haven't posted like a real post there in a long time. And I needed a break. It was just too much. And I feel like hopefully in May, I kind of can get that going again. So I have like quarterly things I'm doing and monthly things. And this monthly things are kind of going here and here. So like these really like link up. And this is more of a monthly routine of checking things out. So checking all the links in my website work. So that's something I can do like on the last day. So I will, and then like checking all the stats and getting all the social numbers. So this is kind of like the end of the month things. Topics and getting my calendar set up for the month. Or is it for the next month? It's probably for the next month. So really this is my May one that I'm literally doing right now. That's how I would rather do it, because it's something I'm trying to look at this as how do I get ahead on these things and not do it as I'm doing my calendaring on Monday the 1st. I don't really want to do that. I want to do it now, which is, so I still have a few more days. And so let's see if I can do it in the order. Okay. So I wrote this list. I'm looking back over it. I wrote this list as in it wasn't in an order that I wanted it to be. And that's the thing. Like sometimes you just dump and just have things on here. But in terms of like, okay, I'm going to May. I'm looking at what I can do for the month. I'll do topics, then I'll do links. Checking links of things. That's including social media in your profiles, making sure those links are still working. If you have a dead link in there, or if, you know, whatever you were linking to, you actually moved something, you know, you want to stay on top of that. So then my biggest priority for the month is getting my website up. And then it'll be like looking at stats and social numbers toward the end of the month. So I'll do that. And I'm sure there's going to be other things. And then I'm going to write these in pen. I guess I could do that now because they're... So I kind of did like a follow-up with my goals. That was the previous video. I can link down below in here. But this is kind of my May reset for this. This is kind of a combo then. And my weeklies might be a lot shorter after this. So I'm going to do 114, episode 115. I'm doing pretty well at once a week. I had to take a little bit of a break in the early part of the year because I just needed a break. So episode 117 is how that will go. And then these will be my Moxie Life Plan With Me's. So as you can tell, I'm putting different terms here. So I might go back and change it on my weekly here. Moxie Life makes more sense when I look at this. Instead of having personal plan with me, I think Moxie Life actually works better. And then that's the end of the month. And then here, I don't know if it's Biz Plan With Me. Probably CP. And see, I'm coming up with systems as I go and seeing which acronyms Plan With Me. There we go. CP, plan with me. So let's change this top one to match. And then Fridays, so this Friday will be my health planner. So this is strictly just content, just work. I'm not putting any appointments on here. And then, yeah, we'll see what these are. I think I might do a Laurel Denise here. And I'm just going to put a little question mark there because I'd like to get back to that one. So then when I flip here, so instead of having B for business, let's get these consistent. So common planner, health planner, and then Moxie Life. So since my pillowing video, as you can see, I'm not having like any big problems writing on these right now. I think they're working. I was able to write in the middle of them. Now, if you're using these like top to bottom, the whole thing, then I would definitely be using this to get that nice and smooth when I'm writing on it. Otherwise, I think it's pretty good. I also saw in here, again, this is my first Hobonichi, there's this piece of acetate in here that could also be used as, you know, just a little quick thing to throw in there. Because this one's sticking out a lot. So if I just put this here, like, to me, that kind of cleared it up. I don't know. I'll experiment. Again, total experimentation here. I'm keeping it simple with the one sticker, unless I put one up here. I think that's... Oh, there is this tiny little sticker. Why didn't I do that? Just a tiny little sticker up there. So I think that's about it. I don't go into my dailies much. There is more like just personal, like dumping everything out of my head. So I think that's about it. I think it'll get more as I introduce social media back into this again, and maybe get one more client again soon. Then you'll start to see how things get a little bit more complicated. But I think like this just kind of may reset, and then I'll still be using this because technically it's Friday for me. I'm going to go get another COVID shot because I'm immunocompromised. I need multiple, and see how this is then moving into May. And then from here, see when I see this here, then I don't want to put Instagram in here because that's like, just makes this total chaos. In my Laurel Denise is where I show like what day I'm filming. These are just the release days. What day I'm filming, what day I'm posting on Instagram, that kind of stuff. So it's a lot more like, well, if I do this day, then it comes out this day. And that's what I want to show again soon because I think that's really interesting. In the meantime, I will kind of finish up April and then look here. So I have these numbers here that I'm going to copy down soon. And I might make those public because they're not, I mean, you can go on my Instagram page and see how many followers. You can see how many followers I have here. My newsletter, it's not as public knowledge. And my revenue, I don't know if I'm going to put here. But when I look here, I think I need to make a decision whether or not I liked seeing all these. Like the balance one, I do it every day. I don't think I need to show that here. And all ideas is a little nebulous. So I think I really, as I run out to go get my shot, I'm going to think about this. And then I'll come back to you next week to see what I actually put here in May. I think I just need to sit on it a little bit. So unfortunately, I think in June, like when I reset there, I'm going to be able to go, okay, this feels better for tracking so that when I go into the subsequent quarters, it's going to feel better. But like planning per quarter is kind of new to me. I usually just plan by the month, and then kind of overall for the year. So having like a 90-day kind of outlook, I like the idea. I think it's really helpful. I've just never done it as much in all my work. So yeah, I think then I'll move these over to this next week, and that will be it. So let me know if you have any questions or ideas. I welcome ideas about things. I may not ever take you up on like actually doing them here. So it's not like if you put in an idea, then I'll do it. This is not like, I don't know how much experimentation I'm going to do on these weekly spreads. I think I'll just evolve over time. So I'm not going to have like, oh, I'm going to totally switch it up. I might, but I did need a little color and a little grounding, and just having this area really clear with like, these are my responsibilities already. How could I fit in another client during the week, and having my little to-do list so that this to-do list can then go into my daily. So that's how it's going. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next week with all of this brand newness. And I hope, subscribe on your way out if you're enjoying this, and I'll see you then. Bye.